Hey y'all, welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. My name is Diane and today is April 19th, 2018. We are just a couple of days past tax day. Woohoo! Got those taxes paid and that is so exciting. Not, hashtag not, but it's exciting to be done with it, to know what I owed for this year. And yes, so really glad to be done with that. My name is Diane and you can find me on the internet as DBB Stitch on Ravelry and Suburban Stitcher on Instagram. My website is suburbanstitcher.com and there you can find show notes, you can find links to my shop, and you can find links to just about everything. The news from the future, I guess is the best way to say that, is that I will be, in the next couple of months, switching over away from Etsy, and suburbanstitcher.com will change from a blog format to a shop format. So I'm very excited about that. I am anxious for the change. It's been a long time coming and there are still so many tweaks to get worked out, but I'm really excited to feel a little more grown up and spreading my wings and reaching out on my own. Anyway, that's sort of shop news. But announcements this week. We have so many knit-alongs that are ending and starting and ongoing. The big one that we are going to give away a prize for is the year-long knit-along called #GetSuburban. And if you're not familiar, because I don't think I've explained it very well the last few times I've podcasted, the #GetSuburban knit-along is a general, basically no rules knit-along. The only rule is that most of your project must be Suburban Stitcher yarn. So at least half, that's most, right? At least half of the yarn that you use must be Suburban Stitcher yarn. And then as soon as you have a finished object, just go over and post that in the Ravelry group. There is a Suburban Stitcher podcast Ravelry group, but it's kind of yarn and all things Suburban Stitcher. You're going to go post your finished object with a picture in the finished object thread, and then every time I podcast, I pick a winner and give away a pattern prize. So this week I'm cracking up because I have to do it. I drew a number from 1 or 2 and 32. We have 32 finished objects in this thread right now. And the winner is post number 24, and it is Prairie Girl Susie. Many of you know that she is one of my dear sweet friends. She knits a lot with my yarn, and yes, my dog, my dog is back here. Her stomach is growling, like almost like, is it upset? Is it hungry? What's going on? She was sick yesterday, which makes me a little nervous. Okay, anyway, Prairie Girl Susie. And the reason that I say I have to give her her prize this time is because I have pulled her name for probably 3 of the how many I've done this year times. So Prairie Girl Susie, you get you get a pattern prize of your choice. So if you will send me a message on or just text me or whatever, and I will give it to you. But I will send you a pattern prize of your choice up to, let's say, $8, because I don't have a sponsor this time. And that leads me into, if you would like to be a pattern designer sponsor of this segment, I would love to give away a pattern of your design that you would like to have featured on the show. So I am trying to get better about podcasting every week, regardless of how much content knitting wise I have, but I just feel like I want to stay in the groove of talking with you all. So we'll see how that goes. I yes, the amazing project that Prairie Girl Susie knit, and I will put a picture in here, is she knit a pair of her own design zigzagular socks, which is a fabulous, very mostly vanilla with a little panel of a little zigzag running stitch down the side of each sock, or kind of the top, off-centered top of each sock. And she knit it out of the Blonde Squad colorway, which is so perfect because that colorway was named after her. So I just love the project. I love how it turned out. Of course, I love her socks and I love her face. And yeah, so message me and we will get you your prize. The other knit-alongs that we have going right now, again, I swear this feels very strange, but we are having a Susie White Prairie Girls Designs knit-along. So any of Susie's patterns are eligible. And I'm going to step back here, see if I can do this without completely knocking everything over. But I have picked out a skein of Suburban Stitcher yarn in the Salted Caramel colorway. And this is on my glitter sock. And you can see the sunlight is definitely cooperating with me today. This is I would say a golden caramel brownish color, but it also has these like hints of red in it sometimes. So yeah, it's really one of my favorite, like right there, it looks like a little reddish hint. One of my absolute favorite colorways. So I'm very excited to get to use this. And I have picked out one of her patterns to knit, and I'm gonna have to go look at my library because I'm a loser. It is called the Downpour Socks. I have not cast on a pair of socks since Christmas Eve when I knit Danny Little Bobbins, knit her night before Christmas, or was the night before Christmas, I think is the name of the pattern. But yeah, I knit those socks out of some Lavender Loon yarn that I got in my advent calendar. And yeah, so I need to cast on a pair of socks. And this, I just love the idea of having a tonal pair. This will go with everything in the fall and the winter. It's such a great neutral, and yeah, so I'm really excited. So this is Salted Caramel on my glitter sock base. And that's going to be what I start very soon. Hopefully, maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll get those started before this weekend when I have baseball tournament. That would be perfect timing. So any of Susie Prairie Girl Designs patterns are eligible. She just released Sharp Arrow. I've also recently knit her interknit cowl pattern. Which I know I showed it a million times, but I didn't show it with the buttons on. These are the buttons that I picked out. I have to show them off. I can link in the show notes the shop that I got them from. They were from Canada. They did take a little bit of time to get to me, and so I think that's maybe because these are wood burned, and this design of the cattails is actually burned into each button. But this is my River's Edge colorway, and I just thought the cattail buttons complemented it so nicely. So River's Edge felt like cattail buttons needed to happen. So anyway, yeah, I'm very excited to maybe this fall get to wear this a little bit more. It won't stay a sample forever. So it's been to maybe kind of this year's trunk shows, and then it will get to go in my rotation of knitwear that I get to wear. Reclaiming it. Okay, so the other knit along that we have going on is a Suburban wrap knit along, and this is a design by Joji Locatelli that she designed out of Suburban Stitcher single sock yarn, which is a single ply fingering weight yarn. But for this cowl, you can use any yarn that you'd like. It does not have to be Suburban Stitcher, but imaginary invisible double points go to those who do. So basically you don't have to, it just makes me extra excited, of course. But yeah, so we're just gonna cheer each other on as we knit this wrap. I knit one in a green and blue colorway. He knit hers out of black, the coal, doily, and predictability, which is sort of a pinky purple mauve color. I have a friend that knit it out of doily, predictability, and then she knit it out of Jon Snow as the dark. I've seen so many beautiful colors and just ways to knit this. It's amazing. It's so versatile. It's a great stash buster. So I cannot wait to see what you choose. So if you are knitting it along, come join in the chatter. It's an unofficial knit along. We may not have prizes, or maybe I'll decide to get fancy and award a few here and there, but it's mostly just for fun and encouragement and to have camaraderie knitting the same pattern together. I don't know that I'm going to knit another one, but I cannot wait to encourage all of you as you are knitting along. So that brings us to finished objects. I have, these really can barely be called a finished object, but it is a good opportunity for me to talk about one of my very, very oldest works in progress, which is a barn raising quilt square blanket. And the reason this sort of came back to my brain this week is I am one of, gosh, 40, 50, I don't know how many, indie dyers who are contributing a blanket square out of our own yarn, and it can be a blanket square of any kind, knit out of our yarn, and we're donating it, and it's going to be seamed up, and it will be displayed at Indie Untangled, which is the night before the New York Sheep and Wool Festival, Rhinebeck. So it's the night before Rhinebeck on Friday evening at the Indie Untangled event, which has moved cities and locations this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's now in Saugerties. It used to be in Kingston. So, yes, but I knew I needed to knit this blanket square because it's got to go in the mail today. And I went to go, I thought the barn raising square is easy. I have the pattern memorized. It will show off the yarn beautifully. And it was just like, I can get this done very quickly because it's been hanging over my head for a few months because I just haven't had time to think about it or do it. So I finally went to do it, and I pulled out I have my little go bag, which of course I do not have here, but it is the super cute patchwork bag that a friend made for me, and I figured I needed my blanket squares to be in a patchwork bag because it just sounded right. So I pulled it out, and I had a square started from, again, sometime last year, I'm sure, and I had not finished it. So I finished this square, and this yarn, oh my gosh, I feel like this was a cult classic yarn from many, many years ago. This is the Russian Rainbow colorway, and for the life of me, I cannot remember the dyer. I will try to remember to put it in here somewhere, but the colorway is called Russian Rainbow. It's a gorgeous gradient striping sock yarn. And this pattern is called the Barn Raising Quilt Pattern. It is in a book called Knit Along or Knit Together or something like that. It's only available in the book. I did not want to buy the book because none of the other patterns were things that I was interested in knitting. I just wanted this one. So I actually checked it out from my library, and it's the kind of pattern that once you knit one, you do not need to look at the pattern again. It is so easy, so memorizable. And I checked it out once from my library, and ever since then, I know the pattern. So I finished this up. I actually went ahead and blocked it because we have to send in a 7-inch blanket square, and I needed to know how big these finished up. So this actually finished up a little larger than 7 inches once it's blocked. And so I knew that if I knit mine, which actually the yarn I was going to use is a little bit thinner, and I knew that if I knit it the same way that I was making it, then because the yarn is a little thinner, it would probably end up right almost exactly 7 inches, and I was right. So the yarn that I knit up next is, unfortunately, I have to give this away, and I'm going to have to knit another one because it's so beautiful. But this is my Suburban Stitcher yarn in the Ladybird colorway. And this is a skein that is still in the shop, a colorway. It was the colorway that I debuted at DFW Fiberfest. I probably will not dye any more up this year because it's been in the shop for a while and it's still there. So it's obviously not in such high demand that I need to dye up more and more and more. But it is a beautiful, beautiful colorway. It's sort of my homage to the fields of bluebonnets and Indian paintbrush. You can see the burnt orange speckles in there, some greens and some yellows, and the yellow is a little bit neon. The purple kind of looks a little neon in some places, and just this yarn, it makes me so happy. And I felt like this was the perfect sample to send to them because it's a little homage of the state that I live in and the state that I run my business from. And yeah, I love it so much. So this will be going off to the Indie Untangled show. And if you are going, you can look for my blanket square. So anyway, I just love this. I love it. What I will say is the one thing that I did that I changed to this pattern from the original is, and I can show you the difference here in a second, because I actually because I was blocking some of these, I thought, let me just wash and block several more that I've already completed. So the pattern calls for a cast on that leaves a hole in the middle. And while that's, you know, whatever, it's a blanket, it's fine. I can seam it up a little bit with this cast on string. I just didn't want to have to do that. So I have started using the pinhole cast on, which is a cast on. There is a free tutorial on the Tin Can Knits website. And oh my gosh, it's a little fiddly the first time you do it, but once you get it, it's amazing. It's so easy, leaves such a clean finish that I like so much more. And yes, so that will be going off into the mail. And I have one that I get to keep for my blanket. And we'll just show you some of these other ones that I blocked. This is a Desert Vista Dye Works yarn. This is Spun Right Round in Clairvoyant. One of my all-time favorite colors by her. This is another Spun Right Round in Holy Crow. This is Cakewalk Yarns in, it was a Halloween colorway. I cannot remember for the life of me what the colorway is called. Anyway, Halloween yarn. This is Vine in her Stellar Banshee, another all-time favorite of mine. And this is Miss Babs in the Sugar, or Pink Sugar, or Sugar Bear, or something with sugar. So nice pinky mauve skein. So that's it for finished objects this week. So for works in progress, there really is only one thing that I've worked on, but I'm going to talk about a second work in progress. The reason I'm going to talk about it is because it's hilarious and maddening all at the same time. I know that I have been talking about the fact that I have been working on my, oh gosh, what are these? Weasley family socks, I believe, from Homemade. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all the words wrong. Weasley family socks designed by Molly of a Homespun House. I'll get all the words right one day. So I've been knitting these out of Yarn Ink yarn. It's got a beautiful, just textured section. I love all of these speckles. They're so beautiful. I love the light yarn with the fun speckles. This is her Neverland colorway, which is very interesting because I think that Tracy from the Grocery Girls is also knitting a pair of socks or something out of this colorway, and it looks completely different in what she's knitting. So I love hand-dyed yarn. I love it for that reason. Anyway, clearly I love it because that's what I do for a living. But I brought these socks with me to a Astros game that I went to last weekend with my family, and I thought, you know, they have stitch and pitch. Yeah, stitch and pitch, and they've got all these things. Like the MLB is totally, they are cool with knitters. And so you do the bag search, you do the whole thing. I have brought knitting to baseball games more times than I can count. And I was stopped by security for my knitting needles. The really super ironic thing is that they let me through with the sharpest pair of scissors that I own. But they confiscated my knitting needles. So I haven't put a needle back in them, but I just ripped, thank God. I probably would have cried 6 years ago when I first started knitting socks. I would have cried, no doubt. But I was able to just rip these puppies out, and yeah. So I just have to put new needles on them, but I haven't yet. And the reason I haven't yet is because I have been completely obsessed with another project that I'm working on. And that is the test knit that I am doing for Vera Valimaki. This is her, not sure when it's coming out, but it's called the Everything Shawl. And you guys, I know I talked about my love affair with the yarn last week. I'm using 3 different yarns. The 2 purples, this is a single ply, and this is a lace weight mohair. Those are from Lakes Yarn and Fiber. This cream colored with speckles is also a single ply, and that's by Wool and Boon. I believe that one, nope, I don't have any of the yarn labels in here because I am such an awesome podcaster. I believe it's called Buffy, but I could be wrong. Okay, so since we have spoken last, I completed the lace section, which, oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. So there's the lace, which of course you cannot see the detail until it's blocked, but that gives you a really good idea. Then there was another of this ribbing. Right now, this section that is giving me life, I'm gonna turn this upside down so it's easier for me to explain, is what I'm gonna call textured short rows. And it's because it's alternating the single ply and the mohair. Can you see that? So, oh my gosh, it is so, look, and when it's blocked, it's gonna do that. Oh, I just can't even. I love this so much. It's already, like, I can tell it's going to be an enormous shawl because it is well past 40 inches for the wingspan, easily. Oh my gosh, so easily past 40 inches. Like this is the top. And like this is just the top even before the lace, and it already is like, that top of it goes way over here. Yeah, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the coziest shawl ever. I'm so excited. Y'all know I love a good big shawl. And I just honestly had no idea that I was gonna love mohair as much as I do, but I do. So anyway, so this has been taking up most of my knitting time, which I've had more lately because I'm not in frantic panic prep mode, and I'm loving it. I love this so much. I cannot wait till this comes out because I want all of you to be knitting one of these. It's so great. So that is the everything shawl. And oh, I do want to mention I have this beautiful stitch marker on here, Progress Keeper, and this is from Bed of Roses on Etsy. I've talked about her before and she's donated some things to the podcast, but she's a beautiful maker. She's in Norway, I believe. Oh my gosh. Yes, Norway. And I just love this so much. Beautiful beads that literally are the exact purple of the knitting. And the little feather and the little brass disc. It's just so beautiful. And very reasonable pricing and shipping to the United States. So if you are not European, but would still like to have some of her lovely things, then it is so affordable. So that is my everything shawl, and right now it is my everything. Upcoming dream knitting and stash enhancement, hello lovelies, a little bit of all of the things. So last week I showed you some gorgeous October House. I'm gonna reach over here. And I talked about some October House yarn that I purchased at DFW Fiberfest. And I also mentioned that I might have ordered some more of it. And I did, and it came in, and I got the 2 skeins. And if I were to be casting on a fading point today, this would be my fade. Right. So I want to go through the colors because if you want to copy me, and you totally should, because Robin is like my soft, quiet colors soul sister with yarn. This is all on her Sojourn sock, which is just like my regular sock base. It's 460 yards to 100 grams, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. But this is Rosewater. This one is called Broken Rose, which is a gorgeous like rose gold with these coppery tans. This is called Honey Jar. This is called The Wind That Shakes the Barley. And the last one is called Paravion. I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but there it is. So you should totally message her for those colors for yourself, because it's beautiful and it'll make a beautiful, neutral, springy fade. I think that's it for stash enhancement. That's all that came in so far. There's always more. Yeah, I think that's it for Hello Lovelies. The last thing that I want to talk about this week is shop update and business, Suburban Stitcher stuff. I put a ton of bags in the shop, and I'd like to show you some of the ones that are in there. We have, let's see, I think there are still some left, but I'm not sure. But these were the only larger ones that I put in. They're this really pretty floral, and then the bottom has like the names of the flowers, which I think is really pretty. Did this have a, no, this one's just a white lining. Most of these just have neutral linings. There were, again, I think there are still a few left, but some blue bonnet and Indian paintbrush bags. So they just, all the fabric placements are just all random on there. And there were some that had this bottom as well. This one is super cute. It's this little longhorn bottom. This is a drawstring, and this is actually a little wider than my drawstrings. And what I do want to say also is my drawstring bags that I used to make did not have interfacing in them. They were always lined because there was always a lining, but they were not interfaced. And I have started interfacing the drawstring bags. And the reason I've done that is because the bags that I reach for my own use have interfacing. And I love them so, so, so much. It's a flexible, nice, and soft interfacing, but it makes it so sturdy when it stands up on its own. So of course it just is a lot sturdier, and I can't get it to stand up like in my hand correctly, but anyway. So all of these are interfaced, and they all have measuring tape drawstrings. So there's those longhorns. There's these drawstrings with this really pretty Tula pink stripe and the linen bottom. I have these pink ones with the pink floral and then the flower bottom here. I have this one that's like shredded paper. That's really fun. I love that teal background. And then the lining on this one. It's dots. I have some books, and they're all different placements of these books. Different books, different placements. The lining is maybe my favorite part because it's library cards. So that's fun. I have this really pretty bird bag. I have this Notions bag with a super cute gingham lining. Another favorite, because of course y'all know my obsession with Alice in Wonderland. This is Alice with the rabbit. She's like falling down with her hair. It's just so, I don't know, so fun. So fun. Brought some of these back, these teal tulips. These are zippered now. This was a collaboration from last year. And the lining on this one is a sort of teal wood grain. I have, this is another scrap, like shredded stuff, and then it has the same lining. I have books in zippers. I have the Notions in zippers. I have some Alice in zippers. Oh, and I did not show the lining for Alice is really pretty. I have some of the pink florals. Let's see. And that one I know for sure sold. This pink floral. And that's it. So many bags. Oh, I have this drawstring as well. I think that one's still in there. There was just one of those left. So lots of drawstrings. It's exciting. Those are in there now. Next week, I am going to be focusing on adding in whip minders and mini skeins and just odds and ends of other things. There are several ready to ship kits that are in the shop right now. I have this. This is a DK weight. You know, let me just look and make sure. I'm almost positive this is still available, but this is a DK weight 3 skein shawl set, perfect for Jody shawls. So this has Spanish moss, ballard, and coal, which I think looks super awesome. I just got a text message from my son. Just strange, but okay. at school. It's just very strange when they get old enough and they can text you. That's a weird thing. It's nice, but it's very weird and surreal. Okay, so let's look at kits. Sorry. Okay, yes, I have this kit, which is a DK weight, perfect for Jody shawl, Spanish moss, ballard, and coal. I have this kit, which is the peach tea kit, doily, peach tea, and walnut. And that was like one of the original sets for Jody shawl. And then this one, apparently I didn't add into the shop and I need to do so. This is the very popular Tandoori colorway. So this is Dandaya, Tandoori, and Coal. So those are pre-made for you, ready to purchase, ready to ship. I'm gonna add Tandoori in because I see it's not in there right now. So those need to be added in. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of yarn. And if y'all have questions about pairing things up, if you're trying to make a Suburban wrap and you want suggestions, if you are looking for fades, I can try to work with you on those. I'm planning some new colorways that are coming out soon. Next week I have there is a book that used 2 of my yarns that is coming out next week. CC Allman Java Pearl Designs has a book that she and her daughter Dammy designed. There is a shawl and a pair of socks that use my yarn in an exclusive brand new colorway that comes out next week. So I'm so excited about that. I just saw the designs yesterday and they are gorgeous. I cannot wait for you all to see them. It's so beautiful. I think that comes out next Wednesday, which is the 24th, maybe? 25th? 24th or 25th. So that's coming down the pike. The beginning of May, I have a new colorway with some coordinates that are coming out. Beginning of May. So many exciting things. I'm just so many things are happening. If you are a designer and would like to work with some of my yarn, please message me. I would love to work with you. And yeah, so message me. We can talk about what you might have in mind. And I love supporting indie designers and up-and-coming designers, and would love to be a part of helping you in your business. So please message me if that's something that you might be interested in, and we can work out an arrangement. I think that might be it. So, as always, thank you all so much for everything that you do to support my business and support my family by supporting my business and watching the podcast. I just enjoy what I do so much and I'm so grateful. So thank you all, and I will see you next time. Bye. So in just a few days, the contractors and his crew will be here to start demolition on this garage, but before then we have a lot of work to do to get all of this cleared out. Oh my gosh, it's so much. There's like booth setup, old IKEA shelves that need to be thrown away, booth setup, Suburban stitcher stuff, bikes, normal garage stuff that's still packed from when we thought we were moving and we didn't. But this will be the new space. This will be Dye Central. This can stay, I think. I think we can keep this side without having to demolish it because they're not doing construction on this wall that we know of. So we will see. It's getting closer. This we've started clearing out. So this is where the sink's gonna go, my big fancy sink. right there on that step. Actually, it'll probably take up this whole section, but yay!